Welcome to the chat where the deals get done. Real estate tips and a whole lot of fun. Think different, achieve your goals. Real estate simplified, that's how we roll.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Real Estate Simplified. I'm here with, I'm Brandon Rizek with Allied Mortgage, and I'm here with Mike Cruz, broker owner of Reside the Real Estate Company.
How you doing today?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Great.
Good. Welcome back. Super excited about today. I actually think this is a really fun topic, just because it interests me.
Right.
A lot of people dread this topic, but today we want to talk about second homes, vacation homes. Types of them, property management, just anything that kind of goes with that stuff. Not necessarily investment properties, but second homes and vacation homes that maybe you want to rent out when you're not there. I think it's a pretty hot topic since COVID timing, and
Right.
I'm really looking forward. I'm gonna ask Mike for a lot of insight on this one. So
Yeah, I mean, and we're not just talking about here in the Las Vegas area, although that's where we work, obviously, but hey, when you want that lake house, that beach house up in the mountains, wherever you want.
I agree. It is not just Las Vegas. In fact, most second vacation homes aren't here.
Right.
But I guess
We have our
we have
fair
our
share,
fair share. You're
definitely.
right. I'm thinking if you live here, but
Yeah. Hey, I even know people that live here that they have their strip condo for the weekends.
that's very true. Actually, it's very true. So let's dive into it. Let's talk about some of the destinations that come to people's minds. I'll let you elaborate, but what comes to my mind is beaches, beach
Right.
houses or beach areas, lake houses, mountain houses.
Right.
Sometimes they're one and the same.
Yeah, my personal goal is having a nice little cabin up on the hill, overlooking Lake Tahoe would be amazing.
I mean, I'm going to come visit you if you get that. Okay,
Let's go.
Yeah, it would be awesome, and that's stunning. And these are questions that a lot of people ask. After they bought their first home or whatever, they start looking at, okay, do I want a destination home?
Right.
And you mentioned Vegas. Sometimes Vegas is a destination. Again, mountains, beaches, lakes, certain entertainment areas of the world like Vegas.
Absolutely.
What's your take on that? Do you think it's a smart investment? And we'll go through maybe short-term renting it. I don't want to get into that just yet if you don't mind, but let's talk, what's your take on just having your second home in general?
So everybody's personal use of the property, what you want to do with it, what are your expectations, all comes into play. If you're looking for somewhere where you can go every year, even once a quarter, it oftentimes makes more sense to buy than to stay in a hotel, stay in an Airbnb, something like that. Because you got to remember, you have that property, you can use it to make money other times when
Right.
you're not using it.
If you're okay with that, right?
Right, yeah. Obviously, even if you're, I have one client that has a property here in Las Vegas. They live down in Orange County, and they come up here, I'd say every other month, probably for about a week. And they use that property, they love it. It's a fairly low maintenance property, so there's not a lot for them to do. They have a cleaning lady that comes the day before they show up, and they love it. And
Okay. Well, so now let's talk about that. You mentioned fairly low maintenance, all that. So what are the types of property that you'll see in these areas that maybe, and again, this is all opinion.
Right.
It's nothing but opinion. Let's emphasize this. But Mike is a real estate broker. He's been around. When I ask the types of property, everybody knows there's single family homes, there's townhomes, there's
Right.
condos. What do you recommend, maybe, as a real estate agent?
comes down to the person, but a lot of times townhouses are really the best bet.
Okay.
A lot of people, and I'm sorry, condo owners out there, they don't want a condo, but they want that feel of a home, but maybe without all the care. So the townhouses, most of the time, and here's where construction, people think townhouse, they think just a big condo. It can be, but most townhouses now, they're actually built like houses. They just happen to have two walls that touch.
In Vegas, most townhouses
yes.
are like that. I'll
Yes.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about hearing your neighbors, stuff like that. And smaller yard, don't have to worry about taking care of the yard.
Sometimes there's an attached garage, whether you have a
Most
car
of the
here or
time,
not.
right, most of the
you
time
can use it for
on a
storage.
townhouse now, yeah, there's an attached garage. At least one car, and most cases now, the newer ones they've built over the last 5 to 10 years, they have 2-car garages.
You know, and that's how many Airbnbs have I been in, or you, that where you can't go in the garage.
Right.
The garage is locked. You know what I
Right,
mean? And that's their
right.
car, their storage, or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
it's pretty beneficial to have a garage,
Yeah.
if you ask me. So, and it also helps your resale value. I mean, I'd imagine. You know,
Absolutely.
whether you're selling it to another vacation home person or
Yeah.
somebody who lives in that area, you know,
Right.
they may want a garage. Obviously, most people do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And at least if it's not an Airbnb, it's your stuff.
right.
Your bed. You don't have to worry about the bed bugs.
That's true. That's very true. So, you know, you mentioned Airbnb, so let's talk about that. So, you know, a lot of people buy, you know, you hear Airbnb, you just think investment property. Well, I would tell you maybe half the time, if not most of the time, it's a lot of people stuck in homes.
Right.
And, you know, what goes along with that? So, like, it's really cool if you're into this. Now, I have to be honest with you. This is my humble opinion. If I bought a second home, I wouldn't Airbnb it. I am
Right.
weird about people sleeping in my bed.
I
I'm
completely
very weird
agree
about
with
that.
you.
I don't even like my kids in my bed, so I'll put it that way, let alone a stranger. So, sorry, but yeah, you know. So, but a lot of people do this, and a lot of people are okay with this, where you can get a second home, use it for a week or so a month,
Right.
2 weeks a month, and then when you're not there, get the benefit of it and maybe pay the mortgage.
Right. You're paying the mortgage, you're gaining the equity in the home, and it becomes another investment vehicle for you over time. Is it instantly? Probably not. But look at it as if you're going to be paying to go on vacation anyway, it really usually does work out to be a better deal in the long run. This one client I'm speaking of, before they purchased here, they bought a vacation home in Phoenix, just outside of Phoenix. Well, they realized, what do we
Phoenix
want to
is
do
boring.
here?
Phoenix is boring. I
Yeah.
don't, for all of anybody who lives in Phoenix, I'm sorry, but it's boring. I don't comprehend why anybody would live there than
Right.
here, other than medical reasons.
Yeah.
You know, because the hospital system's great there.
Right.
But other than that, I'm moving to Vegas. It's,
Right.
It's 10 degrees cooler.
Yeah. I'm
and
like,
it's-
why would
there's
I want to be
entertainment,
someplace
you know.
hotter?
Right. Right.
So yeah, they ended up getting rid of that property there, and they bought the property here. And they're like, oh my gosh, we use it. So it's go someplace fun where you want to be, whether it be here, like I said, Lake Tahoe, the beach. I have a family member that has a condo down in Vero Beach, Florida. They love baseball, so they go for spring
training, yeah.
and the beach is right there. Get the best of everything.
Baseball on the beach.
Yeah.
Well, this is the American dream, isn't
Right,
it? So, okay, so what goes with Airbnb-ing it though? So there's technicalities that people. It's not that you can't just throw it up on Airbnb and
Yeah.
say, hey. So what is it?
Airbnb themselves, or VRBO, or whatever site you're going to put it on, they have their standards. But before you even get that far, here in Clark County, there's pretty strict licensing regulations. You also have to think, is there an HOA? Do they allow the short-term rentals? And then you have the actual management of the property. There's costs involved.
Wait a minute, whoa, back up.
Yeah.
This is a misconception because when we were talking about this topic, I didn't know this either. Airbnb and Vrbo and them, they're marketing companies.
Correct.
I
don't-
always thought Airbnb was the one managing
No.
the property. So
No, yeah.
I'll let you elaborate on that because I don't think people know that. That's not common knowledge, in my opinion.
Airbnb website, Vrbo website, they're essentially Zillow and Redfin for short-term rentals. They market the property, but they don't really have a say in how it's taken care of. There are management companies. There's actually a worldwide management company that has a franchise here in Las Vegas that's absolutely fantastic, but they're a third-party company that's going to charge you, the homeowner, or the property owner, but they take care of also cleaning it between your tenants per se, their visitors, and they basically act as a property manager while it's being taken care of and when it's not.
And you may not know this answer, so if you don't, just say it. I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot here. So when I go to Airbnb and I book a property, whatever it is, you get the price and then you get the taxes and then there's a thing called the cleaning fee.
Right.
So that goes to that third-party company or whoever the property management company managing it? Where does that,
Well,
so how does Airbnb get to get the cleaning fee
So
if they're not managing it? That's what I'm trying to figure out. If you don't know the answer, I'm sorry. I'm wondering myself out of curiosity.
So how it works is basically, if you're renting a house, there's a cleaning deposit. Does it always go towards the actual cleaning? You don't know.
No, right?
You have no idea. It's just an additional fee. Here in the real estate world, we have what we call junk fees, for lack of a better term. Is that just another junk fee? Possibly. Yeah, they do have to pay to clean it, but so many times on Airbnb, when you look at a property, they expect you to clean it basically before you leave.
Right. Well, they make
So-
you do a lot of cleanup at least.
And I'll be honest, I stayed in an Airbnb once, never again.
Okay.
And it's partially for that reason. I'd rather go to a hotel and check out knowing somebody else is going to clean it, leave them a decent tip, and know it's taken care of, and not be forced to pay a fee after cleaning the house myself.
Okay, all right. So we talk about managing it, so we've got the marketing companies, the Airbnbs, the Verbos, and all that. What about property management? What are the benefits of a property manager? What are the downsides to property management? And again, this is for second homes as if you were, the
Yeah.
time that you're not there, because let's be real, if you get a mountain house, let's just
Right.
use this as an example, because I think the weather plays a big factor. You have a mountain house, well, okay, it's really cold there.
Right.
It snows. You've got snow removal. You've got water lines that could freeze. You got to make sure the heat's on. You got things, and you own this property. It's not just your investment property, so you want to make sure it's up to par, right?
Yes.
So you need a manager.
Right.
Okay. So what are the goods? I mean, that's part of the good side. of it.
So obviously, if you don't live in that area, you're going to want a property manager, third-party company that will take care of the property when you're not there and in between your guests. And there's some great companies out there, but they do charge, but they essentially represent you and handle everything so it's hands-off for you. And you let your investment be your investment, have it work for you without the headache. That's essentially the purpose of the property manager.
Okay. So now, give an idea of what those fees might be.
I'll be honest, I really don't know. I don't want to know. I'm not a property manager.
Okay.
My understanding is it can be a percentage of the revenue it brings in, or it can be a flat fee. Anywhere's, I think here in Las Vegas, an example on a 2-bedroom condo, it can be about $800 a month, is my understanding.
Wow.
Yeah, but if you're getting almost $200
You mean
a
a
night,
condotel?
no, I'm talking about, it could be a condotel, but I'm saying just a condo. But
Okay. So I've
if you
used.
rent it out for 20 nights a month at $180 a night, $800 isn't that much.
It's not. It's not. So I've seen it, on long-term rentals. Now, this has nothing to do with short-term rentals. Anywhere between 8 and 12%.
Right. So
of
it's a
the
whole lot
rents.
less.
It's a whole lot less. It's a
Yes.
whole different ballgame. So get that notion out of your
But-
head. A second home, Airbnb, or
They're
whatever
two
it
totally
is.
different
Two
things.
totally different
Because
things.
with that property management, that includes them going into the house between your visitors, cleaning the house, restocking it with whatever needs to be restocked.
Right.
So it's all taken care of for you.
That's why it gets.
That's
more
why it's
expensive.
more expensive.
Okay, that's good
So
to clarify.
yeah, I mean, if they're going in there once, twice a week, you think about that, that's not bad.
No, no, it's not. So now you mentioned townhomes and condos and we call it lock and go, right? You know what I
Right.
mean? You lock and go. You don't care. The outside's already taken care of. You lower the heat. You higher the AC, whatever it is. So that way it's just taken care of, and you kind of out of sight, out of mind. You don't have to worry about.
Right.
So now you have people who don't want property managers. This is some of the downfall to having a second home. I want to talk about the downfalls to this, and a lot of people don't realize this. I had a family member, a very close family member, who had a second home, and it was across the country. They had a home,
Right.
and they used it quite a bit. They used it 10 days a month.
Right.
They were partially retired. and they would fly, but they had a car here. They furnished the house here. I mean, they left clothes here. I mean, it was expensive for them, but that's what they enjoyed.
Right.
But what you don't realize buying this is you're always going there.
Right.
And most people, not everybody, unless your funds are pretty much unlimited, most people have to. When you buy a second home, you're making a commitment to visiting there a lot.
Correct.
And I don't think everybody realizes that, because it got to the point. Now, we're from Cleveland, Ohio. That's where we're originally from, the suburbs of there. And they came here. That's where they bought, here in Vegas. This is well over 20 years ago. And they looked at each other at one point and said, I'm kind of tired of going to Vegas.
Yeah.
And they weren't wrong. You know what I mean? At some point, you have to try and maybe go to Florida, you know what I mean? Or go to the Bahamas, or go to Hawaii or something. So, that's something that I don't know that a lot of people think of when they're buying that home.
Right.
They'll eventually realize it, but I just wanted to bring that out as maybe a downfall.
It can be, but how long were they coming out to Vegas before that burnout was reached?
Probably a couple years.
So could they have owned the property and made some equity in that time?
Yeah, could have, absolutely, depending on the market.
Yeah.
100%. And again, it's not a bad thing. It's a downfall. It doesn't mean that you're stuck there all the time. You can turn it into an investment property and rent it out.
Right.
You don't have to sell it. You know what I mean? So there's other things you can and can't do. I know this is all opinion.
Right.
A lot of this is opinion, because some people like the mountains, some people like the beach, some people like Vegas. Have you ever researched maybe what might bring the better return?
It depends on, every market is so individualized. It really depends on what you want, but what's going on in that market at that time. I know right now in Florida, if you want to pick up a condo, there's basically a fire sale. Ever since that condo tower fell down a few years ago down in Miami, condos anywhere in Florida, from what I understand, are really having a hard time selling. So you can really pick up a good deal. But it depends on what you want. What are you going to do with that property? Do you need a garage? My brother, they live in Florida, Central Florida. They have a townhouse here. It's their vacation home. They're looking at getting a little bit bigger property here, but they have it with the 2-car garage. My brother loves working on cars. He has a car that he keeps here just to work on when he's here. So
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And that's his hobby. That's what he likes to do.
Right.
So it's whatever you like doing.
Okay, that makes sense. Like my household, we're a little split. My wife would prefer the beach, tropical weather. I prefer the mountains. I like
Right.
the lake house in Tahoe, like you.
Right.
I like the Four Seasons, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but I also would like water, but I prefer it colder.
I can solve your problems. You get 2 vacation homes.
Sure. Maybe the podcast will take off and we'll get a bunch of calls. I don't know. I wish. But and I don't even know if I could travel that much. But
Yeah.
so that's why I asked that question, because we have a split household where she was like, well, I'd rather be in Florida. I love Miami
Yeah.
too, but I would probably not want to be there in January when I'm sweating. I don't want to sweat in January.
Right.
You know what I mean? So.
Right.
So I just ask those questions because sometimes it might come down to that.
Yeah.
What might be a better investment, and I guess area has a lot to do with that. so.
Yeah, you have to agree on what area you want to be in, where you like going. All that. What comes down to, I have some other friends, they go to Hawaii 5 times a year. They haven't bought a property yet there. They have a couple timeshares there just because they use it all the time. But they're considering buying a condo just because they're literally there every other month, at least for a week.
Well, that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Right. And it's far enough where it makes sense,
Well,
too.
right. Yeah. And you have to think about the HOA fees and all that stuff too, plays into it. You go into these nicer condo complexes, the HOA fees can be pretty substantial.
Yes, they can. Yes, they
And
can. You know, and there's travel involved with it. They're not cheap. So now, as far as a loan goes, I get this question a lot. What is considered a second home? So I'm going to bring that up, even though I don't know that we plan to talk about it, but I think I get these questions a lot.
Right.
You know, a second home can't be in the same city. You know, if you live in North Las Vegas and you want to buy a second home in Henderson, I don't know that that's going
Right.
to work. You know, a second home in LA, in the beach, in Venice Beach or wherever, that works. You know, or in Utah in the mountains, okay,
Right.
or something like that. So that is number one, a second home. Just because you own two properties doesn't mean you have a second home. A second home means a second occupied property.
Right.
Now, you can buy this with as little as 10% down. I can tell you most of the interest rates are much higher for that. Anywhere in between 10 and 20% down is your threshold
Right.
for a loan. So as a second home, something would be a vacation home, not an investment property, a vacation home. That's what we're talking about today.
Okay.
So,
And somewhat on the same subject here, just because I've gotten this question before, where they don't currently own a property, but they want to buy a property. But let's say they live in LA, they want to buy a property here. They can't buy that as their primary residence because their job is not here. Is that correct?
correct. Correct.
Okay.
So-
that would also be a second home type.
That would be a second. You don't have to own the primary residence
Mm-hmm.
for it to be a second home. It is a second occupancy.
Okay.
Whether you rent your primary home doesn't mean you can't own a second home.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But the down payment requirements still stay the same.
Correct.
So-
Okay. And going to talk about briefly here, just because here in Las Vegas we have a really unique situation. Everybody knows about the Las Vegas Strip and all the hotels, but did you know you could actually own a condo on the Strip? We have, and we mentioned it, the condotels. So
Some of the high rises.
some of the high rises, Signature at MGM, Palms Place, Platinum Hotel, which is behind the Horseshoe over on Flamingo, and there's a few others. You can actually buy an individual unit, use it as an Airbnb, either as we were talking about through Airbnb, where you have a third-party manager or you self-manage if you're a local, or you could actually put it into their hotel program where it's on the hotel website and you collect 60% of the revenue with literally without lifting a finger. Excuse me.
If you like Vegas,
So-
that's a pretty cool option.
Yeah, and you can come in and use it anytime. The one catch is you do pay the resort fee still.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's
Still nickel
basically
and
cleaning
diming you,
fee.
huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, it is what it is. So, well, that's pretty cool, though. If the numbers would work, I think that's a really good option for a lot of people who like to come here, want to be close to the Strip, don't necessarily have to be on Las Vegas Boulevard. And there
Right.
might be some on there, but you want to be close to the Strip and you want to be in Vegas and do the Vegas thing, and you also don't want to own a house and you want somebody to just run it for you. That's a great option. It's
Yeah.
an absolute great option. So,
Absolutely.
cool.
So I think,
I think that's it, man. I don't know. If you guys have questions, please ask. We pick our topics randomly. We pick our topics from what people have brought to us or something that we just see in the market that we think needs to be spoken of. So please bring your topics to us. Like, subscribe, follow the channel. We're excited to do this, and we love to share our knowledge and love to hear from you guys too.
yeah, reach out with any questions anytime. Brandon and I are full-time in this business, the real estate world in Las Vegas, mortgages, real estate, all your different property types, and we get it handled.
Awesome.
So thumbs up, like, comment, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks.
Welcome to the chat where the deals get done. Real estate tips and a whole lot of fun. Think different, achieve your goals. Real estate simplified. That's how we roll.